I think we can recognize that we're starting to get burnt out when our passion for the ministry is beginning to be extinguished. I think that we recognize that when we start to feel more inclined to complain and less inclined to feel blessed about the opportunities that we have. I think in order to stay in ministry for the long haul, there's a couple of important things. I think the first is to have a support system within the church and outside of the church. I think a lot of times we kind of limit ourselves to leaning on the people that we serve with directly. And I think because they're going through some of the same things, that's not always the perfect match. And so I have found that I have to have a support system of good, solid Christian people outside of my local church as well, who understand maybe some of the concepts of what we're going through, but also can just listen and encourage and uplift and just be the shoulder to cry on or the person to vent to or whatever it might be, that we have to be willing to listen to them when they call things out in our lives that maybe are ugly or are hard to hear. And so I think having multiple people say those things to us is important because I am more inclined to believe something when I hear it from multiple sources. I don't think we as pastors or people in ministry always know when it's time for ourselves to see a counselor or a therapist. And so I think it's crucial to surround ourselves with individuals who will recognize that in us and then call it out, because in this line of work, I think it's important to know when it's time to need to talk to somebody. But also I think to stay in it for the long haul, we have to have times of intentional rest and intentional time to be away from ministry. And for some people that looks like a few hours weekly, and for others that might be a week away once every few months. But whatever works best for people, there has to be space away from ministry as well. I think it's interesting that we in the ministry don't often take time for Sabbath, even though it's something that we would preach to our people and stand by theoretically. So I think it's important, if we can't possibly find a day of rest, to give ourselves a certain block of time to do something that's life-giving. It doesn't have to be sitting on the couch or watching television or sleeping in late, something to just intentionally step away from active ministry and invest in ourselves.